I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? Hi, Sandy. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Shatiqua. Hopefully, I say that right. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Jaden. How are you doing? This is part 2. We could not get through all of the 64 ways to help somebody as they're processing and going through grief. So we got through the first 32. After this is over with, this will be redirected over to Alfonso's channel for 9:30 here anyway for his concert he does. So we'll have people redirected over there. So welcome. Thank you for showing on up. For those people that have come in that are new, we have something new a little bit. You will see a candle that's behind me that is flickering. So when we start putting 5s in the chat, that means that you're lighting your candle of virtually in your head to be able to be here as part of support. That is what we're here. We're here to show up. We're here to show up and be part of it. 5 happens to be my favorite number. So I figured out that would be different from the 1, but the 5 just simulates the fact that we're all kind of lighting our candles in our head. We're all here. We're all bringing support. We're all coming together to help support each other. So that candle, as often as we can, will be put on when we can and do a live. It'll be back there and it'll be lit so that people can kind of put it in their head to say, you're never alone. You're never by yourself. And so, we kind of did that, and I thought 5 would be a good number to use that we're coming in. So if people come in and start dropping a 5, you'll know what that means. It means they're lighting their candle in their head. If you have one of those tea lights and you want to put it on, go ahead and put it on. If you're lighting a real candle, I will try to remember at the very end, or one of my mods can, to say, if you've lit a real candle, please make sure you blow it out, because I don't want anybody to forget to blow it out. So anyway, we are in the start of the rest of the 32. I would really encourage you all to go and listen to that first part 1. I really, in all honesty, got a lot out of it. I didn't think I was going to, as somebody kind of processing and going through the grieving steps. And I think I've just started, but they were really helpful to me to say, guess what? I'm not, what I am doing, what I'm grieving is all these things. I literally could hit like here, yes, yes, yes. It was like, hi, Temple. It was like, yes, I can resonate with this. That what I was doing, right, was not anything that was out of the norm. It was like, okay, this is why I felt like this. This is why I felt like this. So I would encourage people to go watch that, just as a way, if you've going through grief, if you've lost somebody, if maybe you have gone through grief, go watch that and realize that every one of those 32 we went through, I was like, yeah, I've been there. And why this is so fresh for me is because this is only 2 weeks old. Excuse me. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since Patty passed. And it feels like a century ago. But the reason why these are so precious to me is because everything's so fresh. I've kind of gotten over the fact that this is kind of like a dream, to the realization that it's not a dream, but I don't like the new norm. One thing that I will say is I didn't think there was going to be any kind of service for Patty. Apparently there is. I do not know to what capacity it's going to be, whether it's going to be streamed through Zoom or what have you. I don't know, because it's about 6 to 8 weeks down the road. But when I find out if there's any way that we can put it on here, I will figure out a way to do it, because you guys have been through this journey from the start of her diagnosis to her to her chemo, to her coming up here, to her in hospice, to her passing. You've gone through this journey with us. Thank you very much. Thank you, the lifeboat. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. So we're going to go through the 33 steps, right? That it has to go through that. Because we're doing a little bit of this tonight, I want people to know. I know. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I want people to know that if there is any super chats or memberships that come through tonight, we'll take a small portion. I just want people to know Patty didn't have any life insurance. And I want to take just a small portion of this one. If there is any, it doesn't mean you have to. Please don't feel obligated in any way. But if there is, I just want to be able to take a small portion and send that to her final expenses. So it's there just to let people know. So I will do a little bit of that, and that will go into a little fund that we have that we're going to send the family relative that is taking care of her final expenses, because Patty did not have a life insurance policy. And so it is resting on my cousins, which is her daughter, and another family relative to have her final expenses. So just so anybody knows, if any other ones come through, that's exactly what I was thinking of kind of mentioning, that if anybody did do any of that, that's exactly what we were going to do with anything that came through like that tonight. And our Venmo is also in our link tree, just so anybody does. And in that, if anybody did feel led to do any of that, then they can go ahead and you can put in the little note, for Patty, and we'll make sure that goes to it, because she does have final expenses that have to be happened. So we're going to go through these 32 and the rest of the 32. And let me put this in here. And also, just a really quick note, her daughter does have a GoFundMe. So if anybody is interested in sharing her daughter's GoFundMe on their social media, just email me and I will do that, and I'll send you it too, because I know she's using that for those final expenses. So let's move forward. But thank you very much for that generous support. It does help tremendously. So number 33, we stopped at 32, right? So 33 is be as supportive on a day. Be as supportive on day 365 as 500 as you were on day 1. Isn't that interesting? That's number 33. I'm going to put this article, when I got done, I was going to put it in the description below. Okay, so be as supportive from day 365 as day 500. Okay, which means that it can take time for an individual to process things. There's still time. When my grandfather's been gone now for, I'm trying to think. He's been gone since 97. And it was Christmas Eve of 97, right? And I can tell you this. There's still Christmases that go by, and Christmas Eves or New Year's Eves that I still find difficult. He's been gone for almost 26 years. But when those times come around, I just want to hide underneath the covers. Can we just not hear the fireworks? Because then on New Year's Day at 12:30 a.m. is when my dad left this world. So for me, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is like, really? I don't want to experience this. So be understanding when somebody's saying this is just as hard on 365 as 50. When 365 comes around and March 9th comes around, I'm sure I'm going to cry, right? I'm sure I'm going to be sad for the thought of Patty. It's going to be the first anniversary of her passing. So I think that that is amazing. I think that to be supportive of them at 365 or 500, if they need to tell stories about that family relative, then let them. Let them tell stories about it. It keeps their memory alive. So that is, to me, something that I think that we forget. You may not be very close to that individual, right? But you may sit there and go, I'm not too close to that individual, correct? But I'm not the person that had to go through it. They're going through it. So be there for them. You know, if you happen to, another thing to think of, if you happen to go to the place where the other person is, maybe when they're going, every once in a while say to your friend, listen, would you like a friend to come along? Do we think about even doing that? Maybe they want that private time at the gravesite, but maybe they want a friend, and then offer to maybe take them out for a cup of coffee. Ask them to do it. You know what I mean? It's important. Don't force the person to talk about it if they don't want to. There has been days I don't want to talk about it. I want to go in a bubble. I want to ignore it. I want to pretend it didn't happen. Don't ask me, right? Don't ask me. I want to forget it happened, right? And so if they don't want to talk about it, don't. Just let them be where they are. Remember, we are meeting people where they are in grief, right? We are meeting them, and we need to meet them in that. We need to meet them in that position of where they are in grief. Okay? Don't try to rush a person away from what they're thinking or feeling. Guys, this is one thing that we talked about. And remember, I said I wasn't going to try to bring in, hi Auntie Monkey Pants, how are you? I wasn't trying to bring in, okay? I wasn't trying to bring in, I was trying to be respectful, but there were some parts that I was going to have to bring faith in this. And this is one of them. When we did our devotions, and I think it was 20, I think it was day 20, and they talked about having major surgery in that devotion. And I talked about the fact that I had major surgery. And Billy Graham was talking about the fact when somebody dies, this is literally like somebody is ripping your heart out. It's like you're going through major surgery. And I went back to when I had major surgery. I had 30 staples down my stomach. God knows how many staples I had inside. I had major surgery, and it hurt. Hi, Michael's Adventures. It hurt tremendously. It was so painful. Getting up was painful. Everything was overwhelming. And if we realize that, if we're trying to rush that, you couldn't have rushed my healing from major surgery. I don't want to rush this grief process. I want to take it as it comes. I'm having to take it as it comes. And I remember my 6 weeks post-op, and I was like, can I go back to work, please? And the doctor's like, you can go back to work, but only half time. And I was like, come on, I'm fine. And the first day, I literally sat in a chair, and I had to get up, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, it hurts to get up. I only worked 5 hours, but it felt like it was forever. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm glad the doctor didn't listen to me. I'm glad she knew better. She went to school for this. And I went home after 5 hours of trying to deal with this whole thing. And I went home and slept for 3. And I spent 2 or 3 weeks only on a 5-hour shift. But I'm glad that it wasn't rushed because I don't think I couldn't wait for the lady who was going to relieve me to come in and relieve me because I was hurting. It hurt to get up, and all this stuff. I wasn't as far along as I thought I was. And I'm really glad that the doctor didn't take my advice. She didn't rush it. I was trying to rush it. So we need to remember when somebody is grieving somebody, this is like surgery on their heart. And we need to give them that time. Match the person's mood and tone. If people would have called me on the phone, "Hi, how are you doing?" It was like that doctor in the doctor's office when we went with Josh, right? And we went in there and I'm like, oh my goodness, right? When we went in there for the when the doctor's visit 72 hours afterwards, I was in no mood for anything. I just spent the entire trip going there, right? And I just spent the entire trip going there, literally crying my eyes out, seeing this beautiful sunrise. And the doctor is an endocrinologist. And most endocrinologists I have met, God willing, they are wonderful doctors. They're all number people. And we sat there and he said, "I'm really sorry for your loss." And then he said, "Well, that's life." And I just sat there going, "Oh, you didn't really just say that, did you?" My husband didn't catch it. And I was like, I have to get up and leave. And if I wasn't so tired, I probably would have. But it took everything for me to sit here and go, his bedside manner is far from good. I was not happy. I was like, I've just lost my aunt. It's 72 hours fresh. And you're just telling me this is part of life? I know this is part of life. But don't do that again. Now, when we go see him again, I'm planning to say something in a very delicate manner. Say, that may not be the response you want to give somebody. But I didn't have the energy to say anything at the time. But, it just wasn't the moment for it. I didn't need somebody telling me this was part of life. This was my aunt. Don't tell me that. I'm going to try not to cry, guys, but it's part of it, right? So you have to match their mood, right? You have to remember to match their mood. You have to remember to match what their tone is. If they want to be sad, let them. Part of grieving somebody is the fact that you got to love them. I got to love Patty even at the times when she drove me nuts. I got to love her, right? Yeah, that's exactly. She was, like I said, most endocrinologists, he's a wonderful doctor, but they're all number people. And it's just like bedside manner does not coordinate with that. Don't put grieving person in a position of having to support you or make you more comfortable. Remember, we don't like to have people around us in pain. We want to fix it. We don't want anybody in pain, right? We want to fix it. And so it's uncomfortable. And we want to sit there going, how can we make this comfortable for us? There's no comfortable. We have to learn and take these tools that are here. We better learn how to use them and have them at the ready and know that this is what that they're going through. I didn't have the energy to make anybody comfortable. Kristen Melinda knows how many times I sent her a text saying, "Can you please wake me up from this dream?" And she would respond back, "I'm really sorry. Tell me that as much as you need. I really wish I could wake you up. Can this be just a dream? Please, just wake me up, please." She wasn't trying to match it. She wasn't trying to make me feel comfortable. She wasn't trying to push that aside. She was allowing me to repetitively say that because I had to say that. I had to keep saying, can you just please wake me up? And I said it to more than one person. I just want to come out of this. This is a nightmare for me. So we have to realize that. Be mindful of how much you talk or complain about your day-to-day stressors. Minute when your grieving friend clearly isn't in the headspace to hear it. I wasn't in the headspace to hear it. I don't care what's going on with you. Right? I've just lost my aunt. I can't think of everything from fixing dinner to doing this, to doing that, to even getting up, to even all were overwhelming. It was like the night that my grandfather passed away. We had the AOL at that time, the dial-up people. The dial-up people remember that, right? And we had the AOL, and I remember going on there, and there was this person, and he said, "Oh, I've had just a terrible New Year's Eve." And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm sure it's not as terrible as mine. My grandfather just passed away." And his response back to me was, "Well, you know what? I guess mine wasn't so terrible." They don't want to hear it. They can't absorb it in the first initial part of it. I could probably absorb it now if somebody called and said, "Listen, I need to talk." But then, oh no. And if you're dealing with a chronic illness, you are already dealing with pain. Your pain now has gone from here, which is your normal level, to about here. And even moving is excruciating. Your body and emotions are so overwhelmed. You are so physically exhausted. You can't deal with anything. I think that we need to realize if we cannot do anything for anybody, I am so thankful that I had decided to make this huge bowl of chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle dumpling soup or whatever that we never got to eat the night that Patty passed because we were just about to eat when we heard the news. We put that in the refrigerator. Hi, Elfish, how are you? We put it in the refrigerator, and we ate on it for 3 days. And I was so thankful. I snacked on whatever I wanted to eat. If I didn't feel like eating, I didn't eat. I'm sure I've gained some weight because I was just like, whatever comes to mind. I think we forget I living my best life, when somebody has passed, please remember that you can do a huge help for somebody by providing a meal. Chickens in Sam's Club are $4.98. So you know, go pick them up a chicken and some salad. If you live far from them, there's a wonderful thing called a telephone. Call them on the telephone, find out what their favorite restaurant is, and say, "Get me your order. Tell me what you want." It could be a simple Chinese. What do you want? Do you want anything? I'll order it. If you know them enough, then you can know what they like. Have dinner delivered to their house. Go bring them some chickens. Go make them a meal. It makes a difference. I will say this. We did have, I think it was after my grandmother passed. Pay attention to, just if you're making a meal for somebody, just a little side note. Pay attention to what their allergies are. Pay attention to what they like. Pay attention to things they don't like. For instance, Josh is allergic to nuts. So if somebody came with something we didn't know had nuts, it could really bother his stomach. My mother is allergic to Parmesan cheese. So she can't handle things with Parmesan cheese in it. We had something happen and our church brought us meals. We were very thankful for them. We told them no spicy anything. And the dish that they brought us was a casserole with spicy sausage. Listen to what they're saying. If you're making something for somebody, we had to take the entire wonderful casserole. I'm sure it was delicious. And it didn't make it into our mouths, because none of us could eat it. all of us are bothered by spicy and peppers and so forth. So it didn't get eaten. So pay attention to what they're saying and what they're doing. Pay attention to all those. If you're in charge of a food train, ask them specifically, do you like spicy? Can the person have nuts? What are they allergic to? And make sure that the people that are making stuff that they can consume. Not something that, oh, well, we like spicy sausage, so they're going to like it. Well, we ended up not being able to eat it because none of us could eat it. Just a little side note to think of. That said, don't assume that they don't want to know about your life. Just be tactful. And if you're not sure if they want to hear about something, ask. Something I didn't want to hear about life. I did want to hear about life of other people, but it was so overwhelming. I couldn't hear it. So if you're sitting there, talking about something at the time, just pay attention to that. Pay attention to what you're talking about. I remember somebody talking about something, and I was like, that's so frivolous. I just lost my aunt, and you're fussing over that? That's replaceable. I was upset because they were fussing over that. So just pay attention to the fact that they're going through a loss. They see things from very different glasses. They see things from grieving glasses. And if they come at you a little bit irritated or snappy like, it's because their heart is hurting. It's not because they intend to do it. Their emotions are all over the map. Just something to think about. It's a long process. I lost my mom 2 years ago and I thought I was coping, but we are now in the process of selling her property and I'm a mess. So many memories. And here's some ones, hon. I know that is that's a difficult thing to do. I had to do it while my grandmother was alive. And that was so hard. It was so difficult. I can't even imagine doing it after the person's gone. Don't expect them to respond when you reach out to them and offer help. Don't be offended if you don't get one. If you reach out to somebody and text them and they're not responding, let them know that's okay. Now, I will preface that if they are somebody that struggles with depression, you need to pay a little bit closer attention if they're going too far down in depression. And so you need to just be aware of that. But if they're not answering, don't force them. I mean, there was people that left comments on the channel. They didn't get responded for 4 or 5 days. That's not like us. We like to respond to all the comments, but we didn't have the energy to do that. I just had the energy to be. That was all I did. Because again, I was dealing with chronic pain on top of losing somebody. So just getting up from where I was sitting and moving to wherever I needed to go was difficult. It was exhausting. It was tiring. So just understand that's where they are at. Don't make grieving person feel guilty for opting out of things and focusing their energy on grief. I told Josh, we had a doctor's appointment. What day was it? Days are molding together, people. Thursday? And I said to him, if I'm asleep, don't wake me up. I normally go to all his doctor's appointments. Usually, except for the sleep doctor. There's a couple I don't go to, but I just said to him, oh, Kristen, thank you. It was very sweet. And like I said, if any of these come in, there will be a little portion I'm going to put aside to send to Patty's daughter for final expenses. But thank you very much. So, I just said to him, if I'm sleeping, you're going to have to let me sleep. Because my sleep pattern has been all over the map. My norm now is to go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. and sleep till 12. And it's like, when am I going to fix that? I have no idea. Whenever my brain decides to stop working. I've literally just sat with the phone going like this, and I've often fallen asleep with the phone every which way but loose, right? I love you, sis. And so be prepared for the fact that they may not be able to have the energy to deal with much of anything else. So don't have them, don't expect them, right? If they want to opt out on something, let them opt out. If you want to take them to dinner and they're not up for it, hold on a second. Need a cough drop. I did an hour and a half of recording before I came on here. If you want to take them to lunch and they're not up to it, you bring lunch to them if they want. They may not be up to a noisy restaurant. They may not be able to handle a noisy restaurant. So you may have to choose to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring the meal to them. Here's kind of the one we talked about a little bit about, hold on a second. Kind of we talked about when it came to religious stuff, right? We talked about the fact that I may have to, at one point or time, bring a little bit of religion into certain things, right? So bring religion into a little bit of this, right? This is not the time to project your own beliefs or expectations onto a grieving person. If they believe in Jesus, if they believe in heaven, if for me, knowing that Patty is in the arms of Jesus and she's gone into that glorious heaven is comforting for me, let them. This is not the time for you to counteract that. That has been so comforting. I will see her again. All of those things. This is not the time to project yourself onto them. And so you need to be aware of that. Got what number we are on. I have to look. Oops. I lost it. I didn't lose the article. I'm on our other channel looking, and then that keeps me track of where I am. Because these are all so good. They really are. Don't try to make the meaning of the loss for a person. Don't try and make the meaning of the loss for the person. Let me read this again. Hold it. Don't try to make the meaning of the loss for the person. This is something they have to find out themselves. There's no meaning. I mean, like the doctor said to me, right? Well, that's just part of life. I'm like, really? Not now. Please. Don't do this to me now. That I understand that. Right? I get all that. I don't want to feel that right now. I can't handle that. I'm never going to talk to Patty again. I'm never going to see her here on earth. My phone is never going to ring with her again. And so I don't need the meaning of life. I don't need the fact. Don't try to put reason behind it right now. I have to walk through this right now. So I had to read that a couple times, right? Don't expect them to be the same person that they were before the loss. I'm different a little bit after this one. I have not had the loss of a child. Sandy, thank you very, very much. Like I said, we're going to take a little portion and put it towards a little thing to her daughter. So let's just realize that I have not lost a child. I don't know how anybody goes through that. I don't think if something happened to Christina, I'd ever be the same again. And so they change a little differently, right? Don't expect them to be the same. I will always be my daddy's little girl. My dad's not here anymore. And when my mother leaves this world, it's going to be a whole nother thing. I'm going to be a different person. It does change you a little bit. Don't expect them to be a different person, especially depending on who they have lost. Just something to think about. People change. Allow them to change and embrace the person of who they become, right? They've experienced a loss. I'm not the same person before I had that surgery to after I had the surgery. I was a different person, right? After the surgery. And so, this is surgery. I'm still and will always be Patty's niece. She's not here anymore. I've lost somebody that I've spent a majority of my life having in my life. She's not there anymore. So I have to work through all this. All right, number 47, have patience. How often do we not have patience with people, right? How often do we sit there and, we want to be impatient in this world. And we cannot be impatient. We have to be patient with people. And so we have to realize we have to give people time. We have to be patient with them, right? We have to give them space. Remember, the grieving process is not on your time schedule. It's on theirs. And we need to be patient with them. We have to extend that. Don't be afraid to ask them what they need. And here's one thing about it. It kind of goes in twofold in this, 48 and 49. Don't be afraid to ask them what they need. And do not be frustrated if the person doesn't know what they need. My husband's like, what can I don't know. I don't know what I need. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what day it is. 2 weeks ago, tomorrow seems like a century ago. I have no idea. I don't know. I can't tell you. I have no idea. Number 50 is let them find ways to cope that works for them. My coping skill right now to deal with sleep is Mary sleeps whenever she can. If it means that she has to go to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning and sleep till noon, that's what this girl's doing. I have stopped fighting my sleep pattern right now. And if I fall asleep at 2 a.m., that's fine. But I'm going to do what works for me, what my body needs. And my family is like, we're just going to let her sleep it out. She's eventually going to wake up. But if it means I have to wake up at noon or 1 o'clock because I couldn't fall asleep till 4 a.m., that's what I'm doing. Because fibromyalgia also has a wonderful thing called insomnia. Well, grief can come with insomnia too. So we have to realize that. So that's something to pay attention to. If you are worried the person is coping is going to be harmful, high cosmic, or self-destructive, don't shame them. All right, here's a really important thing. Understand they are struggling and find ways to offer support, help and support instead. If you are a loved one caring for somebody that has lost somebody, you need to be very in tune with what's going on. when my grandmother passed, Christina went down into a really dark hole. And I saw it very quickly. Her personality changed. She didn't even want to have a shower. She went down in a depression like a box of rocks. I was on the phone with her psychiatrist pretty quickly to let him know something was off, something was wrong, and she needed to be on some kind of medication. And she did. She went on depression medicine. And within a couple of days, she was back to her normal self. Fast forward to it when Jordan passed away. Jordan passed away in September, which was her autism service dog, of September of 2019. In April of 2020, which was the start of, I think, the start of the sea. I think, I can't even remember. But anyway, she was having problems. Now, she had a friend who actually came to her wedding, it was over in England, that noticed something wasn't right. And literally messaged me on Facebook. We were friends on Facebook, and said, "You need to go downstairs and check on Christina right now." Went downstairs. I walked into her bedroom. Just a trigger warning, she's holding a bottle of pills. The pill that she was holding was hydroxyzine. She could have really, really either attempted or failed or actually did it. I don't know if she would have. The fact that she was holding them, was enough. Now, she was furious with the person that told me for not very long, but she was. And I said to that individual, never be upset. I'd rather you tell me. I'd rather Christina be angry for a little bit. She's here. When she came for the wedding, I gave her one of those dream paint pour necklace, and I said, "This is for you. My daughter's here because you spoke up." So if somebody is grieving the loss of somebody and they are going down in a place that's not okay or not good, if you need to speak up, speak up. If they want to be mad at you, let them. You either need to let a loved one know, you need to let somebody know, you need something. But I'm going to say this in preface of that. If anybody ever does, I've had two people within my life, my uncle and my grandfather, who both unalive themselves. Again, trigger warning. If they come through with it, and it does happen, it's very hard for that person, that loved one, to feel as if I should have known the signs, I should have known what to look for, and blame themselves. There is nothing, even though my uncle went to visit all the people before it happened, the signs were there after, not before. So you cannot blame yourself if somebody chooses to do that. All you can do is be there for that person, be there as support, but when you're seeing something happen, speak up. If it means they stop being your friend, but they're still here and they get help, then it's worth it. If they come back to you after it's all over, then you know what? It's worth it. But if they do that, you can't sit there and blame yourself. And that's really hard. That was hard for my mother, that her father did that. And she had to go through a lot to get to the point that it wasn't her fault that he chose to do that. It wasn't anybody's fault. My uncle chose to do what he did. And so, but we need to be aware that if somebody is even talking and they have lost somebody and they're talking about, harming themselves or somebody else or so, we need to take those things seriously. And when I walked into Christina's room, I took that bottle of pills, and she had to come to me for her medication for quite a while. Where I said, we are taking this extremely seriously. And thankfully, I not only had that, I had her behavioral therapist that came around me called her and talked to her and helped her through it. So I had people enough, I had support enough that I could rally, around me. So that's just something to just keep in mind with that being said. Offer to do the hard things with them. Like I said, if they are going to the cemetery, again, trigger warning, and I don't care if it's 2 weeks out, I don't care if it's 6 months out, I don't care if it's 3 years out, and you can go with them, offer it. Offer to drive them. Offer to take them. Find out if they want to go out for lunch afterwards. Offer to go with them, right? That may be something. Maybe when they're just going through the grieving process, cooking is really a difficult thing for them to do. Go over and cook a meal. Order a meal. Bring a meal. Maybe cleaning is something that's very hard for them. Go over and offer to clean a little bit. And if you can't go over to clean, maybe you can hire a cleaning service to go in there and clean for them. So do what is hard for them that may be something that you could do to take it off their plate. Ask the person how you can support them on difficult days or facing potential painful experiences, right? Like if I can find a way to live stream that Patty service, I'm going to do it because you all have gone through this journey with me, right? And I want to be able to have you a part of that journey. So if I can do it, then we're going to do it. And then that way, when we're going through it, you can all be there with me, right? So just something to think about, offer to be there for them when they're going through those, those painful times. Give them space when they need it. When they don't need it, when they can't talk, or they need to go have a nap, let them. If they want to be silent and quiet, if they want to look at a movie and go like this, they want to be in mixed on their phone, let them. I got involved with chips. Just so you know, Poncherelli was my favorite. I got involved with chips. I've seen it before. I watched the entire series, and I worked on a blanket. I wasn't on this much, except at night when I couldn't sleep. I didn't want to be in chats with a lot of people. I didn't want to talk with a lot of people. I didn't want to have anything to do. I just wanted to escape into my crochet, into the chips in another world. I didn't want to be in here. So you have to let them do what they need to do at that time. Except if the person wants to grieve or cope privately. I know we have a hard time seeing everybody in pain. I know we want to come around them and fix it, right? We want to fix it. We can't often fix it. When people are grieving, you've got to let them do it at their own pace and at their own speed. If they want to do it privately, let them do it privately. When they're ready to talk, they'll open up and they'll talk to you. Let them know you're going to be there whenever. Now that's really cool, Sandy. Poncherelli was my favorite. Let them know I'm here for you when you need to talk. If you feel like talking right now, that's okay. But no, you can call me. Excuse me, anytime. I'm here for you. Let them know that. 56. Know that even the smallest thing like sending a text, checking in can be helpful. Here's another thing I want people to realize too. Like Chow Yun Smut recently lost her father. And she ended up, or her stepfather. I'm sure she's gotten cards. I'm sending her a card, but I'm not sending it right after someone passes. So maybe realize that maybe if you want to send that person a card, maybe wait a little bit of time because they've probably been inundated with cards at the very beginning. But maybe a month or two down the road, they maybe need that little pick me up just to know that somebody's reaching out and caring for them. Send them a text, send them a hug. Just let them know I'm here. You're not doing them. Know that light back there is that exactly what it is, right? Hi, Alfonso. I'll be on at 9:30 with you. I have people directed over to your channel at 9:30. So realize that that's what we're here for. We're here so people don't feel by themselves. The littlest things that people did really, really made a huge difference. A friend of mine sent me a beautiful, and I will put it on our Amazon link store. If anybody is ever looking for a little gift basket to send somebody, and it had a ribbon that said said with sympathy, right? And the way that I told them that I received it was I took that ribbon and put it around Mocha's neck. You know, it was a big ribbon, so it was really loose around her neck. And I said, thank you. Well, I have been snacking on those little things my family did throughout this time. And there were chocolates. And I'm telling you, usually you get those little gift baskets and some of the stuff isn't really good. But I'm telling you, everything in that basket was delicious. Right? The chocolate cashews were mine 100%. And they were so good. Everything in that basket was just delicious. And I'm sure you can change out the ribbon to different things or what have you. But that was so unexpected. Josh even said, did you order a package? And I'm like, no. And it was such a sweet thing to do. That little notes on our refrigerator. Somebody was looking out for us. It was just the little things that can mean so much, right? And I'm telling you, a little bit of chocolate at any time is never a bad idea. It was really good. I have to put it on our, I'll make an Amazon affiliate link for it because I thought if anybody's looking for a basket, I can verify that this basket, the basket was beautiful. The stuff inside it was, all of it was really good quality. If you're ever looking for a gift, it really was. Except if they aren't ready to enter certain physical spaces. I don't really want to go out. I go to church. That's about my limit right now. I have spent this time recovering, and I don't think I've begun to recover, but I've had to physically pull back a lot because I've had to let all these nerve endings in the body that deals with chronic pain die down. So I've had to take extra steps that maybe somebody that's not dealing with a chronic illness hasn't necessarily had, been or had to do. So if they're not ready, whoops, that's not what I intended to do. If they're not, whoops, that's not, there we go. If they're not ready there we go. They're not ready to get into that physical space. Don't make them. Let them go at their own pace. That's what I said. If you need to bring the food to them, bring it to them. All right? Do what you need to do for them and let them choose. Don't, they feel like soup from Panera Bread, but you feel like Mexican food. Go get yourself Mexican food and go bring them the soup from Panera Bread. You have to be the one to say, what do you want? And maybe you know them well enough that you can bring, Chinese food. Maybe that's their favorite, right? Because they may not even be able to say, oh yeah, I want that. Because they're just in the mix of just everything. I can't tell you. First week, everything I did was so overwhelming. It was so exhausting. It was so overwhelming. It was so tiring. So pay attention to that with somebody. 59. We're getting there. Let them change their mind about doing things or going places without guilt. You call somebody and say, hey, we're still going out. You know what? I'm just not up to it. They may have gotten into the shower. May have started to get dressed and go, I just can't handle going out. And again, can you bring it to me? Can we sit here and watch a movie? Maybe it's been a movie you have seen before. Sit there and watch it with them again. You remember, you are sitting in grief with them. You do not know how powerful that is to sit in grief with somebody. It says a lot. It is so, so powerful. So remember that. Don't expect them to explain themselves or provide rationate with them, right? I could have kept saying, this is a dream. Can you please just wake me up? Please just somebody wake me up. That was so irrational. But it was all I could it's all I could say to myself to put something into perspective of how I was feeling. I didn't want to wake up from this. I didn't really, and I was so glad. I said, Lord, thank you. Because 2 weeks prior to this, we saw Patty on the phone. We got to say, I love you. I was really glad Christina didn't get to see it. I saw how thin she was. I saw how weak she was. I saw how tired she was. And I just sat there going, it's not going to be far from this time. That's the image I have that will forever stick in my head. And my aunt had a wonderful way, right, of making fun or not making light of stuff. You know, she was on the phone, and I'll never forget it. For the guys, I'm really sorry. She sat there and said, see, I don't have any boobs anymore. You know, and I'm saying that because I just laugh. I'm so glad she said that. Because then we all started laughing. As I was looking at this woman, so frail, so thin, there was nothing left of her anymore. Right? And I'm just thinking, every time I think of that image, I said, thank you so much, Patty, that you said that silly thing. Because then I hear her saying that, and I laugh. And it doesn't make thinking of her in that last FaceTime phone call so painful. Because my heart was just hurting for her. As I saw her so thin and so frail that she had the wit to sit there and say, yeah, and I'm just sitting there, I just laughed. It made it a little easier, right? And that's something that, you know what, that may be a story that you really don't want to hear. But again, let them tell that story. It's the last time I got to see her. It's the last time I got to tell her I loved her. And so let them. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep it all together. And I know this is a safe place to cry. And I appreciate that. Be sensitive that events like celebrations and milestones may be bittersweet for a person that's grieving. So when Patty's birthday comes around again, when New Year's Eve comes around, when New Year's Day comes around, those are all really difficult times. You know, well, Patty's birthday is going to be hard for me. You know, my grandmother's birthday comes around. New Year's Eve comes around. New Year's Day comes around. That's when I lost my grandfather and my dad. All of those times are going to be hard. Everybody out there is celebrating New Year's Eve. I don't want to really celebrate New Year's Eve. I don't want to celebrate New Year's Day. Can I just hide underneath the sheets and not celebrate it? I will say connection makes a huge difference. So even though I don't want to celebrate it, as all the fireworks are going around, I would not be a person that wants to actually go out to like a New Year's Eve party. I would not be somebody that wants to go out with all the fireworks and all that kind of stuff, right? I don't want to do that. I want to be home. I don't want to, don't put me out on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I don't want to go out. But connection does help. So I'm going to encourage people that even though when those milestones come around, do not close yourself off. Open the doors for connection to happen. Right? So that you have something, even if it's just going on the internet, going into the chat, saying hello, saying how are you, and all that kind of stuff, right? Just doing that. Number 62, try not to comment how well a person is doing. Often what you see on the outside isn't even half of what they are feeling inside. Try asking them how, instead, try asking them how they are doing. It's really easy, right? We all talk about it. It's really easy to put that, I'm just fine. I'm okay. I didn't go to the doctor, to Josh's doctor on Wednesday, 72 hours after Patty passed roughly, and put on a face that I was okay. Everybody in that office knew I was miserable. The doctor just didn't have the greatest bedside manner. He's a wonderful doctor. Bedside manner, not so great. So, and I didn't go to my church. Christina wore the same dress, and I have to put that out. The song she did Amazing Grace. When Patty came up here in spring, no, when she came up here in August, I asked her to please bring the dress she wore at Christina's wedding. And I said to Christina, I said, we'll make a teddy bear out of it. You can go on ST and they'll make a teddy bear out of it, right? And I said to them, I said, we'll make a teddy bear whenever you're ready. And she said, well, Mom, I may want to wear this dress. And I said, that's fine. And then when you're ready, we'll make a teddy bear out of it. Well, she wore that dress this past Sunday. And she sang Amazing Grace. And I was recording it with tears coming down my face. We got done with the service. People came around me. They knew I had just lost my aunt. They were all there for me. There was no, I'm okay. No, I'm not okay. I came on here and told you guys, no, I'm not okay. I'm just trying to get through. And even afterwards, I got done with that live thinking that was a jumbled bunch of mess, wasn't that? Well, that's how I felt. I was a jumbled bunch of mess. Welcome to my world, right? It's exactly what I felt like. And so we have to be willing to go through all those steps. Here's two more, 63 and 64. And again, I will put this article in so you have these tips that you can go back to and listen to. 63 and 64 is don't walk away and don't abandon the grieving person. That goes with anything, right? That really honestly goes with anything. If we walk away from somebody who's grieving because they snapped at us or they got irritated by something we said, oh, goodness gracious, I can't believe they said that. Then what are we doing as far as friendships? The relative that has chosen not to talk to us was struggling with the diagnosis of Patty. And instead of saying to us, listen, I need to walk away for a while, they just decided to walk away. For however long they need to walk away. They're willing to come back. I still will be willing to have them back to some degree. But I'm gonna they're going to come back slowly. That's for sure. I'm not going to, have them, open my heart tremendously right away. And I will put this article in the chat so people have it, and then I'll put it in the description below. So don't walk away. There are going to be times when I am going to be angry she's gone. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm not angry at her, but I'm angry at the cancer. And even before she passed, there was times I was angry at the cancer for invading her, right? Let them be angry. Let them feel their emotions. Be there for them. And if you cannot be there in whatever capacity you are in, then find other ways to be there. But make sure that they're not doing this by themselves. Make sure they have enough support around them so they feel like they're not alone. I think for me, over these past 2 weeks almost, the biggest thing that I could say to each and every one of you is this. I haven't felt alone at any point, right? I've been so grateful that I've had people all over the place that have just reached out to me and made sure that this girl was okay. Grief can be a very dark place, but there has been these little lights that have just shined through the darkness, right? All over the place. We're here for you. We love you. Very simple things, right? And so we have to realize that we have to be in this position of meeting people where they are in grief. If something is triggering to you, you may not be able to be there at that time. But you could still surround them in so many other ways. And I think that these are discussions that we need to have prior to people losing somebody, right? We need to be able to have these discussions with people prior to the loss of somebody. Because if you have a friend who's going to go through a loss, right? And there are certain things that, of losing somebody that you just can't handle doing. Have the discussions with a friend prior. The 2 people that I called pretty quickly after Patty passed was 2 people I knew I could call. I knew I could blow up their phones. They gave me permission to do that. They knew when they saw the 4 or 5 phone calls missed, got to call Mary now. There was no wait. There was no anything. There was no, I'll get back to her later. We got it. They knew. One person was working, and they said to their boss, I have to pull away for just a moment. They couldn't stay on long. They knew I just needed to be able to tell somebody. My family all knew, but I just had to tell somebody. As I was shaking, I was just shaking the entire time for about a half an hour, right? I needed to tell somebody. I had to tell somebody. So we have to be in a position where we have to be able to say, okay, hi, Lydia, how are you? We have to be able to sit there and say, okay, guess what? Right? Give us permission. I knew I had permission to blow up their phones. I knew I did. And I did. So let them know. If you know, especially if you know something is coming down the pike, right? Let the person know, okay, that it's okay. Let them know that it's okay to be able to do that. And give them permission to do that. And so We have to be able to do that. We have to be able to sit there and go, okay, blow up my phone if you need to. I knew I could do that. I knew I could sit there and go, okay, I can blow up their phone. I can call them as many times until they pick up. Because they knew. I couldn't even text. I couldn't, everything was shaking. I couldn't even text. They knew it. Auntie Monkey Pants, thank you so much, hon. Thank you. We appreciate you doing this, even though it may have been painful for you at this time. We need to heart this. Absolutely. 100%. This is what this channel is all about. This channel from day one, from day one of the start of this channel, right? And I know, I just want to say this. I know that a lot of things have hit the fan, guys, right? But I am so thankful for the people, for the channels that we have interacted with. We have met some amazing people. There's people I wouldn't have met if I hadn't been in certain channels. They're dear friends of mine. Some of them have become sisters and brothers to me. And I'm so, so grateful. I will be forever thankful and grateful for that. For the relationships I've built. And I don't do this. This all goes to Mama. Some of it will make and add it to little check we'll send to Patty's daughter. But I want people to understand that what I get from it is I get your connection. And when things like that happen, I smile because I know it goes to Mama and she gets to use it for whatever she needs to use it. Bills, whatever. Make your life a little easier, right? Do what you need to do. I need the connection. And I know this is not easy for me to do, as Auntie Monkey Pants said, but let me tell you something about this. I've gone through these 64 and I have found such comfort in them because I know that guess what? What I'm feeling is perfectly normal. What I'm going through, what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, everything is normal. None of these I really have been able to say, yeah, I don't know what that feels like. I know what every solitary one of them feels like. If we've lost somebody, every solitary one of us has gone through those. We are crocheting connection for the purposes of nobody feeling as if they are by themselves, they are alone. It is our mission statement. No crochet hook required. Right? We can crochet a beautiful tapestry so nobody ever feels like they're by themselves or alone. It doesn't take that much, but these communities that have been brought through Facebook, right? Or YouTube, brought through YouTube. Okay, I don't know how many of you, I don't have cable anymore. My husband has some streaming services. I don't watch a lot of the new stuff. I watch a lot of the old stuff. I just got done, or I'm watching in the process of finishing Kate and Allie. Watch Chips. I watch Benson. I don't watch anything that's new, right? The thing about it is that I totally sit there thinking to myself, this is the new television. People are tuning into this. Why? Because there's channels like ours. There's channels like Reese's channel. There's other channels that we're a part of that are doing one thing. There's a community of people that are coming together for connection. Let's put the drama aside and realize that when you go into some of these chats, you know these people. It's like Cheers, right? You know the person's name. They're there for you. You go in there, you meet them, you connect with them, you get through this thing that we call life. And for me to not have to sit there and think, you know what? I'm never going I'm never going to step away from connection. Even when I was going through grief, I maybe not had the energy to come into chats, and I'm starting to get back into doing that again. But our focus is to help build this channel. That's our focus. And so we're trying to do things to get more organized. I'm sitting down with Mama and showing her more on Canvas so she can help and so forth. But when we sit and realize that even in the midst of my grief, and I'm still grieving, but in the first, I guess, week, when I didn't even know which day it was, what day is it? What time is it? What, where am I? I felt like I was in this huge fog that wasn't lifting. And I cry at the drop of a hat, or I would do this, or it was just, I'd fall asleep and wake up very quickly. It was like I didn't know what was up or down, but I had one thing. People were saying, Mary, are you okay? Have you taken care of yourself today? How are you doing? I'm here for you. You can reach out and talk to me. I don't know what happened. I have to go back. Let me go back into my other things. I don't know what happened, Lydia. No, I didn't purposely remove it. I had that happen with several, and I don't know quite what happened, but I'll fix it. I got you covered. Don't worry. I have to go in this way to do it. So we have to realize that in the midst of it, there you go, Lydia. It should be fixed now. I don't know what happened. I had that happen to somebody else. I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like I said, it could have been a moment when I was clicking around, so forth, and I messed it up. We have to remember that even in the midst of it, in the midst of the grief, I knew I had people I could call. I had people that I could talk with. I knew that if I needed to come on here and absolutely be a blabbering bunch of mess, I could do it. I went on and I did our devotion on Monday, and I did our devotion on Tuesday. And that was really, really hard for me. But I knew I needed to honor Patty. And we're going to do a quote on Monday that is actually a quote that I found on Patty's Facebook. Right. And I thought it would be probably fitting that we end the quote month with something that I found on her Facebook. And I thought it was so fitting to what this actually, what this whole thing with family is. And if you're here, you'll get a preview of what it is. I'll read it if I can get it. No, that's not it. That's the wrong thing. No, I didn't get rid of it. At least I thought I didn't. I'll have to go back to her Facebook because it's not on here. I think I uploaded it somehow. But anyway, I will get it. I can't remember what it was, but it was talking about chosen family. And that's what you all have become. You've literally become a chosen family. Right? Thank you, Auntie Monkey Pants, for becoming a member. It means a lot, guys. Let's see. Downloads. No, it's not. I can't do it that way. I'm hanging in there. If you want to know if I'm okay, no, not. I'm not okay. And I don't know when I'll be okay for a while. Right? I don't know when I'll be okay. And guess what? That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to cry. I don't know when I'm going to be okay again. But I know I'm going to get through it with you all. So if I can give anybody a piece of advice, right? Matt, how are you, hon? Yeah, it's okay not to be okay. Absolutely. 100%. If I can give anybody a piece of advice about going through grief, meet people where they are. Let them cry. Let them tell silly stories. Like I just told about the last time I got to see my aunt. That was really hard. But she's sitting there and she has these glasses on. She said, "See my new glasses? I just got them." And her frail body was so thin by then because she had stopped. She couldn't really eat. And then she just looks down and she goes, "Yeah, don't have any boobs anymore." We all laughed. I don't remember that frail body so much as I remember her with those glasses and making a silly out of something. You know, how could you not? Right? How could you not? And so it made that last phone call so much easier for me to look back on. I didn't know that that was going to be the last time I saw her or I talked to her. And just another piece of a little bit of advice. I know her daughter was in no shape, but I really wish that somebody would have called us on Saturday and let us know that she had gone into an actual hospice facility and let us know where she was at on Sunday. Because when my mother came out of that room and said to us, "Patty passed," it was shocking. I should have been expecting it, but I wasn't. I literally was shaking because I was just shocked. I shouldn't have been shocked, but I was shocked. So if you are with somebody who's losing somebody and they can't call a family member, close one like we were in our situation, ask them, "You know what? Can you give me that phone number of that family member so I can let them know?" I think for us, not that it would have made it easier, but it wouldn't have been such a shock. I don't think that I would have felt as if I was in this dream, that I wish somebody had just shake me enough to wake me up. So there's little things that you can do. We're going to talk about helping somebody when somebody is in hospice. And I would like to start getting some panels together too. Don't take life too serious. None of us are getting out alive anyway. Absolutely. I love that. Well, welcome, Eric. I'm new here and I'm from the city of California. We met in Lydia's live. I have high functioning autism, and it's nice to meet you. Can't read. It's nice to meet everyone as well. Meet you all. Well, welcome, Eric, to our channel. All hear about the connection. There's this weird thing about unexpected death still to be sudden. It's confusing to me. Yeah, it was just like, I should have expected it, but I didn't expect it. But I would like to start, and probably get an email together. We have an email for anybody that's channel would like to have a shout out done. And if you would like a channel shout out, here's the email. It's separate from our regular email. That's the email shout out list or shout out. And what I'd like to do, and I'm probably going to come up with an email, I haven't yet, btcpanels@yahoo.com. I'm going to start putting together some panels of people. And what I would like to do is put maybe 3 other people together, have those people together in the panel. I keep making myself large, and I don't want to do that. Put the people together that we can do a panel of We can do a panel of single mothers. We can do a panel of special needs moms. I'd like to do a panel of mothers that would be willing to kind of do like 1 through 5, the first 5 years of their child's life with they have older kids by now, like me, who can say, this is the advice I would have given to myself if I had listened to myself, before I was growing, having these kids and so forth, as far as things that I should have and should have done, or I shouldn't have worried about as young moms. I want to do a panel that does 1 through 5, and then I want to do one that does 6 through 12, and then one that does 13 through 18. So I'm going to start. I'll probably put it on the community tab, and I'll find some other way to put it so that we can start putting some panels together. That what we would end up doing is going ahead and meeting through StreamYard, where it would be private. It wouldn't be on, but we would just meet through StreamYard. And then that way we could have a discussion prior to of things that we wanted to discuss. And they would just commit to a certain number of panels that we wanted to do of that group together. And we can do some more. I want to do special needs moms. I want to do single moms. I want to do that other panel I was talking about. And I want to start doing panels of people. You do not have to have a channel to participate. If you want to participate, let me know, and we can start doing that. So it's not a bad idea as it seems right now. Advice for panels for parents. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was actually somebody else that, and I have to go in a minute because I got to go over to Alfonso's channel. But there was a lady that I watched, and she had a channel, and she said, this is the advice that I wish I had known when I was first a mom. And I thought, that's a really good idea, to have a panel of moms together that could do like the first 5 years, and 6 through 12, and then 13 through 18, to give advice on things as they look back on and say, this is what I would. And then maybe have a panel for, parents, mothers of brides and so forth, and, so forth. And, I'd like to have like a panel of single, only children, because I was an only child. And so I want to start pulling together and doing some panels and so forth. I will be on Big Jack's story time on April the 6th. I also will be on The Source on April 19th. So we've got some things happening, and we're going to get into some more lives and back on the game of things. We're going to start back with shout outs on Mondays. Again, just real quickly, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays are joke days. So we've got the jokes coming out on those days, and then Bible verses come out every day to go along with our devotions. Quotes come out every Monday, and then once a month we'll pile all the quotes together and put them in the Saturday reflection, which we look from kind of like a biblical perspective of the quotes. And we're also going to do kind of go back to our first live, which is going to take a while, but we're going to go back and pull clips from each live stream. And every Wednesday we'll put out a clip from that. And that may increase, but for right now, we're just going to kind of do it on Wednesday. And we'll throw some other shorts in there somehow. I want to do some kind of reactionary shorts and stuff like that. But we're going to grow. And I grew up with an autistic relative, and support for parents is important. Absolutely. And, we can have those kind of panels. And if there's other panels you think would be great to have, then that's wonderful. The next movie I'm probably going to talk about is a movie that I just watched. It's one that I actually watched. I watched a lot. I love seeing it. Hi, Malvik. Hopefully I said that right. That's okay. You can watch on the replay. It helps. Anyway, there's a movie that I will be doing, the next one I will be doing, and it's called The Walk to Remember. And it is actually based on a true story. And it is a really, really precious story. And it's actually one that I enjoy watching and I kind of relate to a little bit. And so that's the next movie we're going to talk about. Is called A Walk to Remember. That is the next movie that I would like to do. And it's a very sweet story. And I watched it and I thought about it a lot today. And I even talked about it in the devotion and thinking, I've got to do a little bit from this movie because it is such a neat, yeah. Lisa, she loves that movie. It's really a neat movie. It has a lot of areas that I think that we could gleam off of. So if you haven't watched it, then it's on Netflix, it's on Prime and so forth. It's called A Walk to Remember, but it is based on a true story, which I did not know when I first watched it. So that is the next movie we're going to do, and I'll probably try to do it later on this week. But I have to get over to Alfonso's. So before I leave, we're going to take a moment and just welcome our new members. It is never expected. It is appreciated. We thank everybody. It does help to support the channel. Remember, at the very end, it talks about the disco balls, and you guys are amazing disco balls, as well as Hi, Create and Relate. Thank you very much. But as well as the fact that it also says, thank you very much. Elvis says that. And we thank you all for just showing up. We thank you all for being so supportive, whether you're able to be a member or not. We are just grateful that you all are here and part of this amazing community. Plus, I get to dance a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So see, got to rock and roll a little bit, right? So if you did actually light a real candle, not an electric candle, make sure you have blown it out by this point so that you make sure you don't keep it lit. If you did it in your head, just keep it going because we're all here to support each other. Thank you all, guys. Thank everyone for your support tonight. This was a hard one to get through, but it was an important one to get through. Thank you all for anybody that was able to send, anybody that did send a little bit. Yep, has left the building. We are going to do some Elvis content. I promise that. But thank for anybody that was able to just send super chats and so forth. We will send a portion of that to Patty's daughter for just some of her final expenses. So that's where some of that will be going. So thank you all very much, tremendously. It was good to see you all. This is going to end. It's going to redirect you over to Alfonso's, which I'm headed over right now to be a part of. And I'm actually going to pull out some crochet while he's doing his musical stuff. So if you want to enjoy some music, head over to Alfonso. This will redirect you when I end it over to his live that's happening right now. So I love you all. Have a great night. Remember, be proud of being yourself. Everyone else is taken. Remember, we got you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. And keep crocheting that connection. No crochet hook required. Love you all. See you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good night. See you over at Alfonso's house. Bye-bye.
So proud